Thank you, Hazwani, for having me, and thank you, Eden and Venture Grab team. This is an amazing forum for franchisors and franchisees. So very quickly, I'll be presenting on 10 minutes on this actually, why franchising is the best business model post-COVID. We can see many of you already think so because many are presenting on your own business model. Many are attending to see what business opportunities you can take through the franchise mechanism. The introduction was done about KASS, so I'll move on. All of you also know what is a franchise, but very quickly, it's basically a cloning of a business. So you hear all franchisors speaking to all franchisors explaining their business so that you know that what you're going to get by replicating their business. In Malaysia, what is I need to highlight is Malaysian franchise businesses are regulated by a Franchise Act 1998. And this act regulates what can you do, what can't you do. Not all countries have a specific act. In fact, Singapore does not have an act, neither does Thailand. So very quickly, I'll present. I can't go through the act, and I won't make you extremely bored. But I will talk about two very important things about the act at the end of this presentation. A lot of businesses, right, confuse licensing with franchising. Licensing is allowing you to use the trademark, to use the patent. All of you, if you attended earlier and joined earlier, you would have heard BOeX, the founder and the business, talking about the patented technology. Patents gives that business 20 years of exclusivity. So there's exclusive rights with trademarks, patents, industrial design, copyright. And it's very important. Actually, franchisers that's tuning in, very important to look at what intellectual property rights you have, because that is where your business grows. People are paying you the franchise fee, the special money, the royalty, because you have something special and different about your business. That's your intellectual property rights. So you're allowing others to use your IP rights, and that's licensing. But with franchises, it's not just allowing them to use your intellectual property rights. You're allowing them to use your SOP, the standard operating procedures, the know-how. How do you run my business? What should you price your business? How do you do marketing? And there's a lot of assistance given by the franchisor. That's the difference between franchising and licensing. Franchising is super attractive. And you know why? It's because of the risk level. There's no high level of risk as starting your own business. There's nothing beats that high level of risk. You put in your own money, you put in your own brand building efforts, you put in marketing efforts, it's your own HR team. Compared to franchising, where you duplicate an existing business model that is successful. You already know it makes money. So that's how your returns on investment is faster. Your risk level is lower. So that's where the risk level of a franchise lies compared to starting your own business. So when I say starting your own business, you're looking at subsidiary, it's your own branch office, or a joint venture where you put in 50% or 40% and there's another party that comes in. That's still high risk compared to franchising. And low risk is when you are an agent. You are like an insurance agent, a sales agent, you're doing it on behalf of someone else's business. So franchising, it's adopting a successful business model. You're taking IP rights, you're taking trade secrets. There are some businesses here that are an F&B line. All that trade secrets and the way you make the sauce, the way you make the batter, all of that are confidential. Then the know-how, the business strategies, the business model, and so on. That's what you're doing, adoption of all of that. These are examples of various ways the businesses can be expanded. Franchisor can have a unit franchise. You can have a master franchise, either by country or by regions, by different north of Malaysia, south of Malaysia, East Malaysia, West Malaysia. Then they have unit franchises. That planning is very, very important. Then you have like this regional franchise. A lot of Singaporeans have taken regional franchise to Southeast Asia, where they go in with the branding of the country and then let me get Southeast Asia, and then they give Malaysia, Vietnam, Cambodia to third parties. So these are very important for franchisors because it goes with your expansion plan. What is your business strategy? How do you want to franchise it out? Right? And then for franchisees, again, it goes with your plan too. Do you want to be a master franchisee or just a unit franchisee? So for franchisers tuning in, your role actually changes. You used to be a business owner. Now you're a developer. You're developing states and regions with your business, putting it out there. So franchising is a great business model. Why is it great for COVID times? Why are we talking about franchising in COVID times, right? It's superb because of franchisees get to own their own business. Now, there's so many unemployed, capable, competent people out there. Why? Because of the pandemic, because of the crisis. This is a great chance for you to own your own business through the franchise system. You own, and it's your own business. It's your own Sendirian Berhad, 100% your shares. You're running the business model of someone, a third party, but it's your business. It's your tangible assets. It's not your goodwill because that brand is owned by the franchisor, but the other aspects of the business, the ongoing concern, it's yours, the franchisees. And subject to conditions, you can sell your own business too, right? In your franchise agreement, it will say that. So you can build the business and still sell it and exit from your business. And it's proven, data has shown that there's lower chances of failure. In UK, over 25% of ordinary businesses fail, but less than 5% of franchise business fails. It goes back to the risk level that you enter at. The risk is lower because you're trying a business that's been out there, it's been done, all the problems or challenges has been fine-tuned, it's been solved. Then you have also a shorter learning curve because you have the franchisor and his team to educate you on how to run the business. And that's great. That's like, CDEC, Mr. Kai was talking about what CDEC does for businesses. A lot of new businesses need to be learning, always on the learning phase, because you need to learn how to run your business. From being the person delivering the service, you suddenly need to know IT, you need to know e-commerce, you need to know HR. Entering a franchise relationship makes you have a shorter learning curve. And this is, I think, is always the best of all, is that you enter a franchise knowing that it's a brand that's known. How many of us come in today and you look at O'Brien's and you know the brand O'Brien's, right? So the level of fame and branding and marketing that is in a franchise brand is why a franchisee also comes in, right? You come in because you want to have a brand that's known. So your marketing efforts are less. That's one. Second thing, in the franchisor takes the effort to also market. They run their campaigns internationally, nationally. So it's very attractive for a franchisee to come in knowing that there's a group pushing the brand out there, marketing for them. That's why a franchisee benefits. And financing is easier. Banks are more willing to lend money to a known brand. Relationships with suppliers have been established. You can get discounts. Bulk purchasers get better discounts. So there you go. 7 amazing reasons why franchisees can actually utilize the franchise model to grow their wealth. Now, key points to know. I come in as a franchise consultant, right? A registered franchise consultant. Of course, there's amazingness in the franchise model. I can't rave enough about the franchise model. I've seen a lot of success stories, but I've also seen a lot of problems, and we handle those problems because then I have been called to court as a franchise expert, or reading a franchise agreement and talking about, okay, is this agreement void? Is this agreement valid? Very important to know for franchisors and franchisees. Franchises must be registered in Malaysia. Okay, if not, there's 2 risks. So be aware of 2 risks. First one is there's a government penalty. The government in 2011, we still do not know why, they amended the act and they increased the penalty for businesses to run without registration. If you're running a franchise business and you're selling franchises, you can be fined 500,000 ringgit for the first outlet and 250,000 ringgit for subsequent outlet. So if you have 10 outlets that are not registered under the franchise system, that's a 2.5 million penalty. So the government penalty is there. Government at the moment is not enforcing it strictly, but the risk is there. So a lot of foreign franchises do not want their name tarnished. So very often we get foreign franchises registering the franchise because they said the last thing they want is build the franchise and then have all these problems of penalties. And then their name is tarnished in the newspaper when this comes out. The second one, which is also very important, is The agreement that you're signing with your franchisor or with a franchisee is void, considered void, if the franchise is not registered. So then when either parties breach the contract, and in any relationship, you always start out with high energy, high amount of positivity. That's why people enter into joint ventures, and that's why parties get together and do business together, right? There's a lot of positivity. But just like marriages, business relationships also can turn sour. Business relationships can also go bad, take a bad angle, or take a wrong direction. How do parties then sue each other? Right? This is where it gets very tricky. And these are the cases that we've had, problems that we tried to solve when that agreement is considered void. So we then start the whole franchise registration process. It takes about 6 to 8 months to have a franchise registered in Malaysia, but we start it very fast, get all the documentation in order because of this. Franchisor wants to tell the franchisee, stop doing what you're doing because it's not in accordance to the contract. Or franchisee wants to tell the franchisor, you need to follow the contract. It's the same thing. When there's a breach of contract, what then happens? Parties then want to resolve this, right? So that's why the franchise registration is super important. I find this reason being more important than this reason. Sorry. Uh, Hang on. My slides are moving with the life of their own. This reason is important because of the high amount of penalty and tarnishment of a brand image of any brand you're building to suddenly have a government wake up and have a penalty on the business. But I feel this reason is more the reason I see more often. Because as a franchise consultant, we get these cases coming to us and then we get called to court. And this is where it's very, very important to make sure that the franchise is registered. If you're looking outside of ASEAN, let us know, because we are specialized in the Southeast Asian region. So we know what happens in Vietnam, what happens in Indonesia. We've helped an Indonesian bubble tea company enter Malaysia and enter Singapore. So what I want to end with is exporting. So do remember, just like SIDEC said, there's a lot of funds out there. SIDEC speaker said there's a lot of funds out there. There is a new government grant for intellectual property. So to protect brands, technology, and copyright, your menu cards, anything that's special to your franchise, this grant ends at the end of this year. It's from 1st of January to 31st of December. Very quickly, it covers registration of IP, advertising and promotion for exports, and these other things. So if you need information, let me know, or let Eden from Venture Grab know. We can let you know for sure. This is the amount, 30,000 ringgit per application for overseas filing, 70,000 for export, for overseas as well. So that's it from me. Really happy to share with you my experience. I leave you with 30 minutes free franchise consultation, but special for only BOeX attendees. So do give this code, snap this slide. That's my number and that's our email address. And back to you, Hazwani. Thank you very much, everyone.